Oh, can you give me the cut sheet?
Oh, yeah, let me see if I got it. Just gonna use this to print it.
Welcome to the Howie Carr Show. The toll-free number from anywhere is 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. First, I just want to say I'm really disappointed that Curt Schilling is not getting into the Hall of Fame, and that he is now asked that his name be withdrawn from consideration. And the reason being touted, of course, is that it's a character issue, as one of the bow-tied bum kissers in the Boston Globe put it, a character issue. Okay? You ever hear of a guy named Bill Conlon? He was a sports writer for many years for the Philadelphia Inquirer. And he has a plaque in the Hall of Fame. When he won the J.G. Taylor Spink Award. I guess that's the august honor for a baseball writer, and they put his plaque in the Hall of Fame. He's a pedophile, by all accounts. His own niece, among many others, said that he digitally you-know-whatted her at the age of 7. And all this came out after his plaque went up in the Hall of Fame. And it remains there to this very day. To this very day. I was just looking at a column in Forbes, which was first pointing this out when the very ethical, moral sports writers started talking about the lack of character from Curt Schilling for his tweets. And this guy wrote in Forbes, if Conlon can stay in the Hall despite child molestation accusations, and they're multiple, by the way, including not just his niece, but other relatives, then Schilling's candidacy shouldn't be thwarted by a couple of mean tweets. The hypocrisy is mind-blowing. Yes, it most certainly is. But that's the world that we live in. And I'm sure we could go down the list of I wonder how many of the sports writers who couldn't vote for Curt Schilling because of his character. You know, didn't Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, among others, come pretty close to getting into the Hall of Fame, even though did they have character issues with the allegations of taking performance enhancing drugs? It really, hypocrisy hardly describes the situation here. 844-500-4242. Another thing, I wanted to mention just right out of the box before we get down to Washington issues, what's going on in San Francisco. San Francisco, I don't know if you saw this, but their average rent per apartment, per commercial building declined even more than New York City last year. And even the tech woke aristocracy is pulling out of San Francisco as fast as they can because it's just such a disaster. Junkies on the street, needles, human excrement, etc., etc. The schools are all closed. The restaurants have been mostly put out of business. Independent businesses are gone. No one's arrested for shoplifting. It's just a complete disaster. They've destroyed one of the most beautiful cities, probably in the world, not just America, by their politically correct misgovernance. So even though they can't get the schools open, and even though the city is a basket case, the San Francisco School Board has decided to rename 44 different schools. And they're going to remove the names of all these oppressors. I looked at the list. Some of these oppressors, I have no idea what it's all about. I don't know. Why do they have to change the name of El Dorado School? El Dorado. Doesn't that mean City of Gold? I mean, that's kind of a mythical thing, isn't it? El Dorado. There is no El Dorado, is there? But anyway, Jefferson, okay, slaves. Lincoln, he freed the slaves, but apparently he was bad to Indians. I read that this morning. I think he was in the militia in the Black Hawk War. I think that was probably enough for him to lose the high school that was named after him. George Washington had a high school named after him, gone. One of the Roosevelts, I don't know if it was FDR. FDR is a good Democrat, and he was in a wheelchair, and he tried to socialize America, but he did put the Japanese in the intern camps. But I think that's been flushed down the memory hole of history. Francis Scott Key, the author of The Star-Spangled Banner. President McKinley, he lost a mountain a few years back. Civil War veteran, assassinated. He's gone. James Monroe, I don't know what he did. He was the Monroe Doctrine. Maybe that was it, the Monroe Doctrine. Herbert Hoover. Here's one. Paul Revere has lost it. What did Paul Revere do? The British are coming. The British are coming. Out. Screw. Paul, you're out of here. How about Bob Balboa, the Spanish explorer? Not Rocky Balboa. Rocky's still okay. Why don't they just change it from, what was the guy's name? Vasco Nunez Balboa. Why don't you just change it to the Rocky Balboa? Oh, but he beat it. He beat a black guy, right? So out. I guess all the Balboas are gone. The Alamo. Okay, I understand that one. Dianne Feinstein. I just talked with Grace about that. She used to be the mayor back in the days when Sam Spade was the leading private detective in San Francisco. I think that's how far back it went. Something with a Confederate flag, the stars and bars, and now she's on the. She's been exiled to the outhouse. Junipero Serra, he's a saint in the Roman Catholic Church. He was a missionary, but he converted the Native Americans, the Indians. Out. Robert Louis Stevenson, famous author of adventure stories, including Treasure Island, I do believe. And how about the Union generals? Philip Sheridan and William Tecumseh Sherman. I'm pretty sure they didn't own slaves, but they must have done something else. So they're all gone. And then there were a bunch more that, like I said, I didn't know who they were, but they've all been excised. And I don't know who they're going to name. Maybe they could just name every school after Harvey Milk, the gay supervisor who was gunned down. And he was by some accounts, he was a predator himself. But being gay and being shot down by a white heterosexual male, a member of the board of supervisors, a former cop or fireman. He was also he's a very important figure. How about Jim Jones? Jim Jones was a big shot in San Francisco back in the 1970s. The Jonestown, all those people dead. Maybe they could name us some of the Jones High School, Jim Jones High School. This is a very strange new world that we are living in. Pedophiles are okay in the Hall of Fame, but if you tweet against the politically correct orthodoxy of the Baseball Writers of America Association, you become a non-person, just like in Stalinist society in the Soviet Union. 603 says, throw out all the womanizers, start with Mickey Mantle. How about Babe Ruth? Babe Ruth was a womanizer, right? Didn't he have he supposedly had the Great American Stomachache, and that was a sexually transmitted disease? If they throw out the womanizers, there's going to be a lot of vacancies on all the wings of the Baseball Hall of Fame. But you have to pick and choose your fights, and Curt Schilling was a Trump supporter, so we'll have to start with him. He will be the first one to become a non-person. 844-500-4242. 603. Harvey Milk was a pedo. I thought he was. Are they taking his name off any schools? No. I wrote a column a couple of years ago. Are they taking the name of Gary Studs off of anything? There's a whole area of the North Atlantic named after Gary Studs, the former congressman from Massachusetts, who was bounced from St. Paul's School in Concord, New Hampshire, for being a pedophile. And we always knew that, all of us who knew people from St. Paul's from that era, but it never came out until some of the victims started filing lawsuits. But now it's confirmed that Gary Studs was tossed because he was hitting on the kids, young underage boys. But he hasn't nothing has been unnamed for Gary Studs because, well, you know why. He's a Democrat. 844-500-4242. My friends at Eden Pure have done it again. And for just this week, the Thunderstorm air purifier BOGO is back. Buy one, get one. That's buy one Thunderstorm air purifier and get another one for free. It's been months and people still ask me if it really works. Not only does it really work, but it works in hours. Our sales rep came down last week and there was a funky smell in the air at her Airbnb. But it was no match for the Thunderstorm. The mailroom manager lent her one of ours, and hours later, the smell was gone. The Eden Pure air purifier is so small, you can hold it in your hand and it plugs right into the wall. That's why it was so easy to move. The best part is that you don't have to replace any air filters, which of course saves you time and money. BOGO is back for 1 week. Maybe you have one and you know how well it works. Now you may want one for your second floor or your basement. And if your house or apartment isn't big enough for 3, just give one away to one of your kids or even a friend. Pet, kitchen, tobacco, or that basement smell is all gone with the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie BOGO. That's one word, Howie BOGO, Howie BOGO. This deal ends on January 31st at midnight. The Thunderstorm sells fast, so don't delay. Shipping is free. I'm Howie Carr.